Yo, 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 hope we're all good and welcome back to another video. So in this video, we're gonna go over lower body strength training for Hyrox athletes. Some essential things that we need to absolutely have in our strength program to make sure that we are maximizing our ability as a Hyrox athlete. So for me, absolutely every single strength session I do, I start with some stretching and some mobility work. I'm an older athlete, 34 now, so I know there's a lot of conflicting information out there on the internet about we shouldn't do static stretching, we should do static stretching, mobility work is overhyped and overrated. Some people absolutely will die by it. From personal experience, I've remained more injury free and the body's in a healthier position while I've been incorporating mobility work pre-strength sessions. So for me, it's an absolute staple. It's an absolute must for me. So yeah, I just like to open up the hips a little bit, do some static stretching. A little bit of low skill level kind of plyometrics with just pole hops onto a plate. Now we're getting into higher skill level plyometrics with dynamic seated box jumps. So progression on this is the distance covered from seat position to box rather than height for me just now. So I've done a couple of rounds and just inching it out with each round that goes on. So here I'll probably hit a couple of sets here, and then we'll get into the main movement of today's session. Right, so into the main lift of today's session, which is a high bar back squat. I think it's absolutely key in any sort of Hyrox programming, in any sort of strength and endurance program, to have a heavy squat pattern in there. Regardless if it's a low bar squat, a high bar squat, a front squat, it doesn't matter. I do think it's an absolute staple in any athletic strength-based kind of program, an absolute essential. So yeah, we're opting for a high bar. I've prioritized a lot of 3s and 5s during in season. I'm in my off season right now, so what I'm looking at doing is progressing my 10 rep back squat just now. So we've got 3 sets of 10. 105, 102 and 100 kilo is what is programmed. If I'm feeling good, then I'll push the weight up just a little bit. But first set here is a 100. One thing I want to touch on with back squats. All too often, although bracing is, of course, a crucial part of lifting, we want to make sure that that midsection is as braced and as tight and as stable as possible. But with a high bar back squat, we want a little bit more extension, which of course, if we're trying to opt for more extension, then we're not able to brace and really contract. Bracing is essentially crunching down a little bit and really tensing that midsection. Whereas extension, we're not really doing that, it's almost the opposite, right? But we do want a little bit of extension just to keep that chest nice and upright with your high bar squat. So don't get too fixated on crunching in and trying to be more rounded. Try and keep a nice proud chest, extend just that little bit. Don't extend so much that it ruins the brace, of course. We still want a strong midsection, but pull back a little bit on that brace and offer a little bit more extension. It's going to keep that chest nice and proud and keep your squat, and keep your high bar back squat bar path in a more optimal position, because we're more upright with that torso position. All right. All right. So that's the primary strength movement done. With squats we hit 105, 102 and 102 again. We're into our secondary strength movement of this lower body strength session. And I think your secondary movement should be a unilateral movement. So with this, in this block, we're prioritizing a reverse lunge. The amount of athletes in the Hyrox space that don't do any sort of proper unilateral strength work and go quite light with their single leg work, it baffles me. We shouldn't do that. We should aim to get really, really, really strong on one leg. So I've actually got 2 priority unilateral movements throughout my training week. So I do 3 strength training, 1 upper, 1 lower, and 1 full body strength session. And the full body strength session starts with the main movement being a rear foot elevated split squat or a Bulgarian split squat. And the goal for that is to try and get as close to double body weight as I possibly can. I think we're up to 85, 90 kilo on the Bulgarian for sets and reps. So my goal is to always, with myself and with my Hyrox athletes as well, is to get really, really, really strong, not just bilaterally, but unilaterally as well. We want to get really, really strong on one leg. So on this, we've got 82.5 kilo, and we should hit this with 3 sets of 6. Fairly comfortable, an effort of like 7, I think here, because we are still at the beginning of this block. Plus I've got a half marathon coming up. So we don't want to go too high in the intensity scale there. But after the half marathon, then we're going to get up to 8 and 9 out of 10 efforts with this movement. But for this week, it's a 7 out of 10. Right, and the secondary strength movement that you should absolutely have in your Hyrox strength training is a hinge pattern. So this block we are prioritizing a RDL. I don't really care if it's going to be bar or dumbbell for me. I just want to get really, really strong at that hinge pattern. It's been a while since I've really got confidence in my lower back since I slipped my disc in a hinge pattern, so I am taking it very, very careful, if you can say that. Basically just being a pussy, that's what it is. But yeah, your third movement in your lower body strength training for Hyrox athletes should be a heavy hinge pattern. Conventional deadlift, trap bar, RDL, Romanian deadlift, dumbbell, barbell, it doesn't really matter. Get really good at hinge patterns, get really, really strong at a hinge pattern. And that is pretty much the meat and potatoes of today's strength session. We've got a heavy squat pattern in there, we've got a heavy unilateral pattern in there, we've got a heavy hinge pattern in there. Now, you see there's a million videos of strength training for Hyrox, and it's more geared towards Hyrox specific in terms of sled pulls, sled pushes, heavy lunges and things like that, and that all is great. But for someone who is months away from Hyrox, I don't need to have any specific work in there. I really, really don't. I will only incorporate sled work, wall ball work, heavy carries, and more Hyrox component work as I get into kind of pre-season and in season. There's zero point in an off season to have a lot of Hyrox component work in there. This is still very Hyrox specific. Hyrox is a very leg dominant fitness race. We need to be strong. We need to have strong lower body. So heavy squats should be in year round. Heavy unilateral movements should be in year round. Heavy hinge patterns should be in year round. And as we get closer to race days and in competition, that's when we start bringing in sled work, heavy walking lunges, lots of sets and lots of volume on wall balls and things like that. But for just now, there's 0 point. I want to get strong and I want to build a bit of muscle. That's what I want to do in this off season. So I'm actually going to finish the session with some hypertrophy volume on leg extension and some leg curls, and that is me done. And that is my lower body strength session to gear me up perfectly to race Hyrox come the end of this year / start of next season, start of next year when my season actually kicks off, which is probably looking like either. Yeah, anyway, I will wrap this video up here. I hope you enjoyed this more informative, educational type content. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, subscribe to the channel. We're at 221, 222 subscribers now. And considering at the start of this year, we had like 180. So we're growing, mate. We're growing. So appreciate you all. But yeah, subscribe, like the video, share it, and I'll catch you in the next one.